In this video, we're going to talk about using library and online sources to find the information you need for your final term paper for Management 305. I'm Dawn Emsalem. I'm the Director of Library Services, and if you have questions after this presentation, you can Google Dawn Salve Library to find my email address. Today, we're going to talk about some research strategies for your term project, and we're going to look at sources that are likely to have the information you need, and then with an online activity, you're going to practice using these sources and hopefully find some resources that you need to complete the work for your paper. So the first thing is to figure out what information we need, and in this case, your assignment specifically asks for some background information. Each of these pieces of information can be found in different types of resources, so you're going to have to do a little digging. And then we're going to identify the types of sources that we need. So we need historical information, we need current information, we need demographic and economic data, and analysis by experts about the country's economic strengths and weaknesses. Then we're going to figure out what tools we can use. So government websites, library databases like Statista and Gale, and other information. And we're going to walk through each of these today. Gale Virtual Reference Library has historical information. The World Bank's Enterprise Service Surveys and the Observatory of Economic Complexity has some big picture information about the economic situation in each of these countries, and just basic demographic and economic data can be found in CIA World Factbook and Statista. Let's pop out of here and go to your Management 305 online research guide, which you can find in your Canvas course shell for Management 305 by clicking on Library Resources. In this, we have the video that you're looking at right now, as well as links to each of the resources that we're going to talk about. So let's start by going to CIA World Factbook, and we can do a search for your country here. So let's start with looking for maybe L for Libya. And then CIA World Factbook is going to give you just some basic information about Libya, including some background information that the CIA has compiled, and each of these data from each of these areas. So you can get some really basic background information from a reliable source by using CIA World Factbook. The next tool that we're going to suggest you use is Gale Virtual Reference Library, which in your online research guide you can get to by clicking here, or if you Google Salve Library, you'll find the library's homepage, the Killup Library, and you can choose databases A to Z and G for Gale. We're going to choose Gale eBooks. And then we can do a search for your country, such as Panama. And one thing to make, we're looking here for historical information, but we still want the most recent information that's possible. So 2002 is a little old. 2017 is still old, but may still be okay if you're looking at historical information. This is Worldmark Encyclopedia of the Nations, and if we click on Panama, it will take us to the entry for this. So this is giving much more extensive information than World Factbook. And the sections you might be most interested in are the ethnic groups, languages, religions, history, government, and then these other pieces of information, including international cooperation and economy, might be useful, keeping in mind that this is historic data, but it's not too old, from 2017. So Gale Virtual Reference Library will be a good source for getting this background information that your professor is requiring. The next tool that I suggest you look at is the Observatory of Economic Complexity. And if we click here, it will take us to that. And we can search a country right now. Let's try Peru. And what the Observatory of Economic Complexity provides is this is all economic data, including information about imports and exports. This you can't access the latest data, but there's some data from 2020, which can give you a very good perspective on these are the products that are being exported by your country, and these are its main trading partners. So one of your things you have to figure out is how big a market is the U.S. In this case, Peru is exporting 15.7% of its exports to the United States. Its biggest partner is China. And if you keep going down, you can see some information about market growth in various neighbors to Peru. It also gives information. This was about these types of materials, but you can see also service trade, this sector of its economy as well. And as you scroll down, there's even more information about Peru and its economy. So that was the Observatory of Economic Complexity for economic information. The next tool I'm going to suggest are World Bank Enterprise Surveys. The World Bank is a non-governmental organization, and it releases surveys about doing business in different countries. So we can select an economy and choose one of our countries, for example, perhaps Dominica, and see what it has. So in this case, the latest World Bank Enterprise Survey for Dominica is from 2010. And so this will not be as useful to you because it's 12 years old. But if that's the case, you hopefully will find this data somewhere else and you can skip the World Bank Enterprise Survey. But let's try another one. Let's try Guyana. And again, that one was 2010. But let's try Chile. Again, 2010. I'm striking out here with the World Bank Enterprise Survey. We may want to try Ethiopia. That was from 2015. So we'll take a look at that. This is describing the country profile. If we click on this, this is a country profile from the World Bank, and it has this information in it. So it talks about the workforce and crime. So this is something that someone doing business in Ethiopia might want to know about. And it might give you some information that you don't get in other sources, such as female participation in employment, and the physical infrastructure in the country. Again, this is 7 years old, so it may be a little old, but it's still got information that could be useful. So I suggest that you give your country a try in World Bank Enterprise Surveys. The final tool that we're going to take a look at right now is Statista. And Statista you can get on by clicking here from the library homepage, or you can go to the from your online research guide, or you can go to library homepage and click on databases A to Z and S for Statista, and then click on Statista. You have to access through the library homepage, because if you don't, Statista won't know that you're from Salve Regina, and you won't get all of their information for free. Now, one thing you can do is just type your country's name in the main search box. Macau is not a country, but we can see what information Statista has. And in this case, it has a whole topic on Macau. So right now, this is some basic information about Macau, that it's a administrative region of the People's Republic of China. And if you scroll down, you get the data that Statista has compiled about Macau. And this includes information about infrastructure and employment and so on. If you'd like the entire report, you can download it in PDF. Or if you'd like one of these statistics to use in your report, you can download in any of these formats. PowerPoint allows you to actually use the specific statistic by grabbing it from a PowerPoint presentation and copying it and putting it into your report with attribution as to where you got it from, of course. And then the other thing that you can do in Statista is go to Outlooks and then down to Country Outlook. And here you can get the country, do a search for your country, such as Ethiopia. And one of the tricky things is it doesn't return anything. It just highlights where your country shows up below. So here's Ethiopia. And now when we click on this, this gives an entire report on this country. And this is a projection to 2025. So some of this is really useful. It's an outlook, so it's looking into the future. The analysts are projecting based on all of this information. And so all of this data, again, can be downloaded right here. And you can also compare economies if you'd like. And it offers different segments. So you could choose maybe the business environment, and Statista will give you all of the information that it has on the business environment as well. So it's a very powerful way to get information for this report.